It's a Bitcoin emergency. No, it's not. Which is it? Well, if you watch the rest of this video, you will find out. This is the morning market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Bitcoin goes down 3 days in a row. I've heard, oh my God, it's a bear market. Why are we crashing? We're not crashing. We are correcting. The crypto market is correcting for reasons that you can't possibly think of, which is cool because I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what's really going on with crypto. So here's two funny things. One, Cathie Wood from ARK Investments. Hey, there's a saying at Wall Street. The only way to get famous is to really lose money. Funny, right? So Cathie Wood from ARK, which is a huge investment fund, I should show some respect, but she's had a habit of, either buying stuff that disappeared. That was 2022. The second thing is getting off the train too early. Now, there's nothing wrong with taking some profits and going to the beach. I get it. But she just dumped a whole bunch of Bitcoin like the world's about to end. Now, I'm going to tell you what's going to go on, but it doesn't warrant selling as much Bitcoin as she did. Now, that said, she probably saw the cringe that the biggest crypto hedge fund led by my kind of hero, Mike Novogratz, is sponsoring tennis players at the U.S. Open, and they have a little guy in an astronaut suit with a tennis racket. I'm like, oh my God. So we've actually got dual cringe going on. And everyone thinks the market's going lower, and it might go lower. I gave Patreon guys our target. Let's just say it would be a new low for this move, but I don't think it would be the end of the world. I think if everybody saw 4,000 ETH again, they would freak out, which is hysterical because when ETH was at 1,500, everyone was like, oh, well, 4,000 is never happening. When everybody moves the target to 7,000, 4,000 is a disaster. Actually, it's not a disaster. If you want to get attention on YouTube, you go like this. It's an emergency. It's not an emergency. It's a correction. It's a washout. It's macro legacy stuff. So, for example, if you're a crypto person, you're like, oh, it's down. I can't wait to buy. Two whales bought $100 million worth of ETH. Right? The White House, listen to this. The guy who was the crypto czar at the White House quit because they're not doing a strategic Bitcoin reserve. 1, 2, where did he go to work? Tether, where they make more money than BlackRock with 50 employees. Ooh, what kind of payday did he get? That's how badly people want in on stable coins, on crypto. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. Now, what is really going on here? This is going to be everywhere. It's already on CoinDesk. So there is a government bond problem in Japan and now the UK. Interest rates that, you would use to buy a home or would be connected to buying houses and things like that are kind of spiraling out of control, right? Like in England, I don't know, like thousands of millionaires left, right? They have a lot of people on what they call the dole. We have this similar problem with spending. Bond markets are not happy. When bond markets are not happy, everyone freaks out. And honestly, no speculative asset can survive a bond market storm when it's longer term bonds. Now, all of that said, in the past, how long have these things lasted? Not that long. Now, here's some evidence that whatever hysteria happens in bonds over spending or whatever will be short-lived. Okay, ready? Lumber. That's right, lumber. Going back to the old days, lumber and copper have fallen apart. So even if there is a problem with bond markets, and even if it does scare crypto, that's going to be a 2 or 3 day event. because the things that are telling you that the economy is rolling over and that crypto is the only place to go. So regardless of who sponsors a tennis tournament and, who sells, oh my God, you know what? She's probably selling in a newspaper and selling spot to get a headline and has got orders down below with Michael Saylor and everybody else. They're all waiting for you down there below 113. And again, if you look at the headlines, right, it's like, oh my God, Bitcoin is losing steam. Glassnode is like, oh my God, everybody is underwater now. Oh my God, demand is dried up. Okay, guys. Yeah, the whole world changed in 4 days or 5 days? I don't think so. Really, I don't think so. Now, what does this mean for you in terms of altcoins? Well, Solana's back at 180. That's unbelievable. XRP is still pressing 3. You might get lucky and get ETH at 4, or you might see a wick down in Bitcoin, because again, that could be where all the selling pressure is. If everyone loses their mind, doesn't look like they're going to lose their mind right now as I'm talking. And even if they lose it later, right? Like, oh, it's okay this morning and maybe later on today or tomorrow. You know what, folks? I'm going to tell you, the nastier it is, the better it is. In other words, here's a way to not fall into the trap. I almost did it this morning. Everyone looks at the market and goes, oh, we're up today. Oh, we're down today. No, the market is up today. The market is down today. You and the market are separate. Try to remember that. I know it's tough. It's tough. Okay. There are good things coming on the horizon, even if they wind up washing it out. I mean, it's the only choice. Ripple extends credit to Gemini for its IPO. So it'll be Ripple extending credit to Gemini, and then Gemini helping pump the eventual Ripple IPO, which is incredible that still no one talks about XRP. No one talks about Ripple and XRP at the same time. And I'm telling you, when this thing is done going down, okay, it will be meaningful. Okay, now that said, now I don't know if these guys are watching my show. I'm watching theirs. This guy was like, don't sell BlackRock your crypto. This is the last dip before the Q4 parabolic. I was like, well, that sounds familiar. I mean, I borrow that guy. I use that guy for ideas on titles and thumbnails. But I was like, man, that sounds real familiar if you ask me. Okay. So if everyone's saying don't sell your crypto to BlackRock, maybe it's not an emergency, but they got one more big heave. People are already discouraged, right? Like there are guys calling for a bear market. That's what you want in a bull market. You want guys going, yeah, it's over, right? One guy is saying that this is very similar to what happened in 2020, where you had people sell over a time. It got boring. There was like 2 nasty dips, and then it just went. It just went, right? Because again, problem in bonds, problem in stocks, problem in commodities, right? Problem with banks, problem in Japan. There's only one way to go. There's only one way to go. And the thing that's funny is everyone, when it goes down, right? Everyone's like, well, let's look at Bitcoin. Let's look at Ethereum. Oh, okay, fine, right? I get it. That's kind of how you do the TA. But there are ecosystems under here that are getting completely ignored, like DeFi, RWA. Like, when was the last time you heard anyone talk about an AI coin? And again, I just put this huge sector report together for Patreon, right? So it's like, when to buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and XRP. There's that part from now to the end of the year. Like, when are the dips in each coin? And they're all different, by the way, right? And then there's what coins to both buy and sell and when. So like the first round of buys, the first round of sells. And then I've got that for September. Okay, enough of the shilling. The point is, there is there are going to be discount bargains. I think they're happening already. Avalanche never went up. Avalanche never went up. Neither did Near. Just two large cap examples. Like, instead of saying, oh my God, it's falling apart, my bags, it's wrecked. No, dude. No. And even if they smash it, I think the more they smash it, the better. Now, I would love a nice, quiet ending. And probably so would the whole rest of the world. Hey, but you cannot underestimate what happens, right? Once people actually start to turn bearish. It's already happening, right? All Bitcoin wallet cohorts now in distribution mode. Everyone's like, oh, yeah. At 123, it was awesome. But at 112, oh, God, get me out. Stop it. Stop it, right? Everybody is so quick to get off the crypto bandwagon. And what's really funny is in legacy, right? Let me tell you something about legacy that you won't hear. Like, some super smart guy just came out with an idea that stocks are not in the stop buying mode, right? What they're saying is get out of stuff that looks like it's too expensive, which would be tech stocks, and just roll it into some other normal type of stock, right? Because, buy something that has some upside. Duh. Well, if there's no upside in tech stocks, if there's no upside in hot equities, what else is there? It's just us. And I said this yesterday, and I'll say it again today. Crypto is, just did that. We are the most important market in the world. We are, right? Treasury Secretary, breaking news from the Eagle King, says they will use tariff revenue to pay down the debt. Uh-oh. Have they gotten a phone call from the Fed about what's going on in the bond market? Oh, I think they have. Because that's ridiculous, right? I mean, they take in, tens of billions and spend trillions. Okay? Tariff revenues aren't going to be paying anything. If anything, tariff revenues should be used to buy Bitcoin or crypto or use the sovereign wealth fund, which again was all vaporware, right? They promised that and it's not happening. And you know what? Good. There's a problem. Good. Crypto's going down. Good. My bags are getting hammered and I want to quit. Good. I mean, not good, but good. This is how you have a bull market, right? We don't need the sovereigns to moon our bags. We just need them to behave badly enough. We just need them to behave badly, right? And then, you smash out the chart, right? Like, what's Bitcoin doing today? Okay, Bitcoin is at 115. It was at 114 yesterday, and everybody's got headlines like emergency. It's an emergency. No, it's not. It's a correction. It's a washout. It's a blowout. Or it's a nothing burger. Either way, you need to be standing down here. Now, when other YouTubers are saying the same thing that I am, this is just a part of, you'll have to do this too. You have to ask yourself, it's like, okay, well, if I'm saying it and some other guy with 1 million followers is saying it, then that means we're all saying it. Okay. So if everyone thinks the same thing, something else happens. So if everybody is like, well, don't sell your crypto to BlackRock or don't let them chase you out. I mean, that's all true. But you have to wonder, is there a twist? Well, there's only one twist I could think of. Well, one, it's over. That's it. That was the correction. Thank you for coming in. Have a nice day. That's one thing. Have a good week. Or it gets really nasty like 2 or 3 days from now. Like really nasty. Like flash event. Right? So everyone's like, well, don't give up. Don't, stay strong. And I say that. And I mean that. But now I'm starting to wonder. It's like, if everyone's saying don't sell your crypto to BlackRock at 115, is it over at 115 or is there some final heave? Well, I don't exactly know the answer to that, but I think you have to be open to that possibility, given that, bond market is cracking. The economy in some ways is cracking in some ways, right? You got to be prepared all the way down to those things being a nothing burger. So you have two plans. I know. This is a little bit of a mind bend for your morning coffee and bagel, but if you're listening to me, I appreciate it. You want to watch to the end because this is the important part, right? If it ended today, have you got all the crypto you need? Question number one. Question number two is, if it went down, could you handle the decline and then get all the crypto that you need? Right? Because, everyone sees what's going on in the bond market. Everyone sees this and that. I think lumber is the biggest development, but here's the real key. And this is a hallmark of the YouTube member area. Toby Ward, ace analyst. Every time I try to geek out on all this stuff, you know what she says to me? She's like, Bill, it's not like it used to be anymore. So whatever Cathie Wood saw that prompted her to sell Bitcoin, she's wrong. I mean, she's seeing the things that I'm seeing, and I'm just telling you, it's all over CoinDesk about the bond market, blah, 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 blah. It's wrong. She calls it the decoupling. Crypto is going to have a mind of its own. It already does, okay? But we're beholden to the, equities, oh my God, of the day. And the real oh my God of the day is that Gemini and Ripple are like getting together on the Gemini IPO. That's a big deal. It's also a big deal because a Gemini IPO gets Coinbase promoting the Base network. Like, what's the hottest thing about Coinbase? Well, they can push a button and everything on Base could be available to normies. Literally. What? We're going to have talking machines in Skynet, and we can't trade on a centralized and a decentralized interface right on one computer screen or phone? What? Okay. So Gemini gets IPO money. Guess what? Seriously, Gemini getting money forces Coinbase into like turbo innovation mode. Turbo innovation mode. Like, people are like, oh, what's the bullish catalyst? Dude, you want to talk about alt season? Dude, that's alt season. Like when they say, hey, we're going to bring everybody up on Base to Coinbase the second Gemini gets money. Because remember, it's the Winklevoss twins. They haven't always played nice in the past, but they got star power. And now they got money from Ripple. So now the XRP army is interested in that. And as I've said, you got to make sure that you're more interested in crypto than you are in equities. Okay? Because what they're doing over there will eventually leak over here. Now, let's talk about specific coins. Again, I just did this report. What do you want to be looking at? Like, you're like, okay, Bill, you tell me this 2 days in a row. What should I do? All right. You got to get yourself 3 microcaps or 2 microcaps, right? One of mine is antivirus, and I found 2 more that I threw into the Patreon report. Find 2 microcaps. Here's another mind-bending exercise. You ready? Dump a large cap coin. Like, get a divorce from something you're married to. Now, I know you're not married to, you're not going to get a divorce from XRP, but I wonder if there's a large cap DeFi coin, say, that you might say, see it. Or AI coins that are vaporware, right? The best time to think about what you should do with your portfolio in crypto is when the market is not dumping or mooning. The market's actually giving you a moment to figure out what to buy and sell. I know that sounds crazy, right? But if you figure out what you're going to buy and sell, and then they heave it one last time, or whatever it is they do, right? I mean, personally, at this juncture, after Cathie Wood sold, I'm like, okay, well, it's not going lower now. It's not. And the whole bond market thing is now all over CoinDesk. Okay, well, I like CoinDesk, don't get me wrong. But if it's like, oh my God, the crypto world has discovered that there's a problem in legacy. Okay, yeah, there's been a problem in legacy now for a couple of months. Right now, it's just like, oh yeah, it's it's coming to the forefront of people's mind. Okay, so if I look at some charts, you don't want to see a failed rally. In other words, like you had kind of an uptick. This is August 18th. I'm sorry, August 19th in the morning. Yeah, you don't want this little nice bounce that we had back to kind of unchanged. Yeah, it would be bad if that failed. Just based on what I'm looking at, right? Like you thought it was over. 116 was the level. They blasted it yesterday, right? And I was like, oh, the stop fishing exercise, which was true. That was the first stop fishing exercise. Then it went back up to 116 Bitcoin and failed. And I was like, ruh-roh. Then they took it down and made a new low. And now they're doing the same thing they did yesterday, right? Every time it goes down, they try to bring it back. But if they can't get it going, guess what? They'll do this, most likely. They'll do this below 116 until they either break the market or the market just goes dead quiet and sits there below what is probably the key support point. 116 in Bitcoin is important because there was a huge amount of trading between 116 and 123, right? So they went in there and I was like, oh, it's fine now. Now they're like, back down paying 115 a visit. Everyone's like, okay, what's going to happen? Well, sometimes the market will sit and scare you and nothing will happen. But if this morning's rally fails for whatever reason, this market could get monkey hammered again. And all the big experts, there's enough cringe. There's still enough FOMO out there. Like, don't sell your Bitcoin to BlackRock. Like, I have a lot of respect for this person who said that, but like, we all can't be saying the same thing, as I said earlier. So, if I just eyeball ETH, this is kind of giving you sort of like the legend of the charts. The great news in ETH is that 4250 is holding. So that's a nice way of saying Ethereum's fine. Honestly, if they puke anything out, it could be Bitcoin. And the biggest argument that it's all over comes from Ethereum, right? Because it's sitting at 4250 and XRP, because I have no idea what the rationale for puking XRP out below 3. I mean, you might get a flash crash to, to 290 or something like that. But that would have to be on some really serious event. Okay. And there is a serious event out there because, Scott Bessent, who's a professional Wall Street guy, is trying to tell you that, oh yeah, we'll use tariffs to pay down the debt. No. Now, what's the Ethereum thing got to do with Bessent? Is you have to remember, folks, if legacy falls apart, this is what the Satoshi white paper was written for, right? It's just a question of surviving the volatility and keeping your psychology intact. In other words, Solana at 180, and I tell you what, the people who listen to me on a regular basis, they don't want to hear me talk about Solana at 180 anymore, and I don't even want to talk about it. But guess what? 180 is back. It's a huge level on a monthly chart. Solana just cannot stay above it for whatever reason. I guess there'll be a book out about that in 2 years. I have no idea. Just don't want to see today's rally fail, or beware of failed rallies is what I would say before I would say don't sell to BlackRock. Because what BlackRock can do is they can trigger a lot of stops. They can trigger a lot of stops. And I also think, right? Oh, here we go. BlackRock, breaking news from the Eagle King. BlackRock had to unload some Bitcoin. Okay. So I guess that means people are getting out of the Bitcoin ETF, or they're unloading Bitcoin because they want to go into something else. It is kind of funny now that I think of it. that, you know, these big splashy headlines like, oh, BlackRock sells and Cathie Wood sells and everybody sells. It's a good scare tactic. And you know what? It could work. I'm serious. I mean, if people start puking out, we saw this 2 weeks ago. Everyone's like, oh my God, it's a top. Oh my God, sell the Bitcoin ETF. These characters have to sell at that point. They have to sell, which is funny, right? The stonks characters, 1 minute they're 10xing Circle, the next minute they're dumping the Bitcoin ETF after it goes down for 3 days. Do you see? This is why I talk about the psychology for your head. Do you see? I see how this is like total nonsense, right? The market has gone from it's going up forever and Bitcoin's going to 200,000 to it's a bear market. It's over. It's a 6-month correction. It's not. It's not. And it's probably not anything that you've seen before. That's the tricky part. That's why I went back to, I was like, you know what? Make sure you say to yourself, do I have enough crypto? And if it went down, could I get more or what would I do? Right? You don't want to get caught in panic selling. And you also don't want the market to bore you out. This is a scenario that is not talked about enough, particularly in the last 2 weeks of August. Like they may have dropped this thing and everyone's like, okay, what's going to happen? Then nothing happens. Nothing happens. So this really was a lesson in trading psychology. But if you go back to the original discussion, right? The non-AI economy has probably rolled over or cooled off. We could even be crazy. If you want to be crazy, we could be crazy to say that leaving interest rates too high for too long has actually worked in terms of crushing certain parts of the economy. Now, of course, that's not good, but it is good for Bitcoin and Ethereum. It is, right? And the whole rest of the market can follow. Now, again, AI is a whole separate economy. And the great news is AI and crypto go together. So everyone wants to talk about an AI bubble and everyone wants to talk about a crypto bubble. And here's a lesson on bubbles. If people say it's a bubble, it's probably not a bubble, right? When it's a bubble is when people go, oh my God, it's a new paradigm. This time is different. I mean, I know I give the guys in Web 2 a hard time, but no one's getting out of NVIDIA, right? When they say it's a bubble, it's going higher. When they say crypto's overvalued, it's going higher. When Cathie Wood sells Bitcoin, it's going higher. That's it. And then the only question is, are they going to bore you out or flush you out? Boring you out is actually harder because everyone in crypto knows that when they get the big wick and, you know, everybody kind of knows that, right? Everyone knows, oh yeah, you know, jump in there. It's like, oh yeah, Bitcoin at, 109. Oh yeah, let's get some of that. But they just leave it here at 15 or they slump it down. That's much more difficult. It is, right? And it's also difficult. It's also interesting. I saw Altcoin Daily on their thumbnail the other day. They were talking about alt season, again, being triggered by Coinbase listing automatically everything that's on base. Everything. Which would cause a huge flood of coins to base, most likely. So again, there are catalysts out there like Coinbase, like why were we in crypto to begin with? Problems with government perception. I don't know, maybe I brought this up yesterday, but somebody from a fire department in England criticized leadership in a closed group chat, a closed private group, criticized leadership and got arrested. Seriously, it happened. So everyone's like, oh my God, the market's down. Dude, the market is your future. The market is freedom. You just remember that. Remember that when it's down. Remember that when it's boring. Remember that when Bitcoin is at 120. Remember it when Bitcoin is at 110, right? This is why you crypto. Okay. SJ says, will Powell's verbal diarrhea pump us or dump us? Okay, well, undoubtedly Powell is going to stay defiant, but Powell is going to have to acknowledge what is going on in commodities and the labor market. He's going to have to. Now, if he was smart, he would just do what's called dovish talk. Because believe it or not, whatever Powell does or doesn't do, even though the algos love it, like he's going to give a speech, the algos have an expectation. They'll say it's going to be a dovish or a hawkish speech. And then everybody trades every time he opens his mouth. And then the next day, we just go back to what we're normally trading, which is everybody getting off the legacy bandwagon over to crypto. Powell's going to have to get dovish at some point. Because he doesn't have to change rates. He just has to say, okay, we're in the mood to lower rates. They say that, crypto's not going down. It's not. If he's dovish, it'll put a floor under crypto. We won't have to worry about selling our crypto to BlackRock. We'll just have to wait here, right, in a staring contest, which again, can be difficult. So, So Callie says, I have a certain amount of money in 4 different coins, not selling for 6 years. Don't care what happened. I'm in for the ride. Sir, you have a lot in common with my co-host, Toby Ward. He's like, bro, I got 6 coins. I got Litecoin from back in the day. I'm never selling. Right now, you do need an exit strategy. And here's your exit strategy. You ready? When you look at your P&L, not the charts. When you look at your P&L and you go, wow, that's a lot of money. If you have that thought, or you want to go out and put a lampshade on your head and party, right? Or the YouTube micro influencer championship belt, yikes, right? Either one of those things happen, that's it. Especially if you go, that's a lot of money, because your brain knows more than you think it does, right? SJ says, smash the like button, right? SJ says, another XRP 7-year bear market on the way. Well, dude, if that's the case, then, they'll have a new CEO. Somebody will come in and buy the company. Dude, I'm telling you that company's going to get, someone's got to take them over before they go public. Because if they go public, it could be crazy, especially if Gemini's IPO is good. T-Bone is here. What's going on? Gregory Brinkley is in the house. New Wyoming stablecoin on Avalanche. I know, dude. Like, things don't matter until they do. They're using these layer ones. They were vaporware that just pumped like crazy in 2021. Now people are using them and no one pays attention. We have Art here from the Amsterdam airport. What's up, sir? DC Precise. Hello. Fuzz Crypto. What's going on, everybody? We have Mike and Pow. Bobby Rock, excuse me. Right? Pancakes and peanut butter. Shrinu Dadi. Which coin should I buy? Wow, that's a good question, right? Which coin should you buy? Okay, well, you should buy the coin that helps you understand the market. Because once you understand the market, you might be able to find the next 100x. Because I know that's what you want. I know that's what you're asking. And you're being very polite, and I appreciate that. What is the next 100x? Okay, well, here, I'll tell you, because I do research in other areas. It's probably not a meme coin, although I have a coin that's part meme coin. I don't think it's a meme coin. I think it's probably a layer 1, and it's probably AI connected. Okay. In other words, in order to figure out what coin you want, you need to use your imagination. And you know what? If you can't use your imagination, you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and XRP, which are the new dollar, euro, yen, and British pound, right? 4 for 4. Like, replace fiat with one crypto, then go from there, right? Deed says stick to Coinbase. James is here. Dude, syrup. For real. Right? Syrup, Pendle, all these DeFi and RWA plays. Oh my God, dude, we've been talking about them in the YouTube member area like ad nauseum, right? Cali Dadman 21 by 20 says Pudgy Penguin, no good. Okay, well, Pudgy Penguins is a Q4 play because those toys are going to be in every toy store in America, I think. So that's when you got to watch out for that. You also have to remember, you know, you're going to have a banana move in the fourth quarter. Toby told you that. Now I have the bigger players stealing that from us, I think. Right? There's always a twist. Be ready for the twist. That is the market update for today. We will see you tomorrow.